14 moves based on recent research and from lowest to most bone density benefit. Dance steps. Step ups. A lateral step up. Hopping, one-legged. Squat jumps. Side to side jumps. Star jumps. Foot stomps. Vertical jumps. Side to side over an object. Depth jump or a drop jump, even better. Forward and backward jumps. And last but not least, and the most positive impact from vertical squat jumps.
Hey, I'm Deborah Atkinson. I'm the founder of Flipping 50 and the creator of this video, and interpreting the science for you is what we do. So I serve women in menopause and help them solve that nothing I do that used to work works anymore problem. So what I want you to know before you jump in, literally or figuratively, to any of the exercises here is think about how to use them best. So what I've shown you in this video is from least positive influence or ground force on the bone, which is what is beneficial. So it's like putting pressure against something. The bone responds with pressure back, gaining bone density. It makes it more resilient. However, you've got to be in your sweet spot. So you've got to know, what are my limitations? How at risk am I for fracture? So if you've been diagnosed with osteoporosis, what you want to know is, what are my numbers? And ideally, your physician who tested you, gave you your DEXA scan, actually went through that with you. So there is some kind of a number that you've got between 0 and 2.5 is within osteopenia. If you're 2.5 or greater than that, you're in what we call osteoporosis. But how much? And if you've got one or more tests over time, we're looking at what's trending. Are you holding your own? You've stopped losses. Are you still losing? Or are you in fact doing the right thing and you're gaining? And right thing, by the way, is not just exercise. So exercise is a huge factor, but so is eating the right thing. Yes, taking supplements, but lifestyle habits, eating the right thing and making sure you're retaining and absorbing the right thing, also really important. Don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but want you to know this is something that you need to consider. Coming back to the exercise specifically, think about where you are now. What do you do on a regular basis with your either daily activities of life or with your exercise? So let's say you are a postal service deliverer and you still are on foot. And do people do that anymore? Right? But you're getting a lot of steps in. So you're doing walking already. Probably you're beyond just doing the dance step or doing step ups, but maybe you're moving on and you're able to do a lateral over the step kind of movements, or you're doing some hopping and jumping, depending on any other limitations that you have. So more steps, you want to remember, just more and more walking doesn't give you more and more bone density benefit. You have this minimum threshold of stress that your body needs. And once you are able to do something, you can walk for a mile. Walking 2 miles or 3 miles doesn't give you more bone density. A lot of people are surprised to hear that. So just a quick review. You actually need to continue to add stress as much as your body is able to handle it, considering all things. So if you have arthritis or you have no cartilage in your knees, then jumping and higher impact activities are probably going to be limiting factors. Your knees, your lack of cartilage are limiting factors for you doing that safely. So you've got to find other ways to get resistance, potentially by lifting weights, because you can easily press and strengthen the muscles surrounding the joints without actually stressing the joints quite so much. Water exercise, doing specific resistant kinds of movements in the water could also be really beneficial if that's you. Hope this has been helpful. But here's what I would do. I recommend that you pick out Where am I? Identify what kind of thing are you doing now, and what you're looking for is what's the next step. Start with that, incorporate those kind of movements regularly, and read the notes in the video just below here about how many times a week. 10 to 20 jumps, 3 to 4 sets of those, 4 to 7 days a week. That's the recommendation based on the research. And what you need to know is this research specifically that I'm sharing here in this video was made for prevention of osteoporosis. Now, what we're seeing is a lot of research, new research emerging on women postmenopausal with osteoporosis. And we're also seeing that higher degrees of impact are being employed successfully. They're actually supporting increases in bone density, not just stopping losses, but actually increasing bone density. And when we look at injury rates, there have been none. The adherence level to the study and to the exercise was actually really high. Women responded really well to higher impact, higher intensity exercise. They liked it. They liked the fact that it was more engaging mentally as well as physically. So if you are concerned, it may be your gut feeling. So pay attention to your intuition, check with your physician, know your numbers, know what are your other risk factors. How high is your risk for fracture? And the more that is true for you, the more conservative side you want to err on. For those of us that are apparently healthy, I think we want to gradually and progressively continue to do that higher impact and definitely couple these kinds of movements. This alone is not enough. Couple this with resistance training of adequate intensity. Adequate intensity for that is between 8 and 12 repetitions to muscular fatigue. And then adding power to that. Power is the addition or the adding speed component to a strength component. So you're lifting slow and controlled for a period of time, gaining a foundation. And then from that, you're slowly integrating push and then slowly come back. So we never want to just powerfully go back and forth. That's momentum. We want to powerfully push for pressure, because we can just push like this carefully, or we can power and you're going to get much more impact to the bone in doing that. In fact, it surpasses slow and controlled movements where bone density is concerned. So hopefully that was helpful. There's a lot here to absorb. So if you have questions, you can add them in the comments or come over to the Facebook page at Flipping 50 TV. So it is facebook.com groups Flipping 50 Insiders, where you'll find the private Facebook group to ask questions if you're not already in a Flipping 50 program. And I'll see you on the flip side.